DJ Hilson is joining us this morning. Good morning. How are you, DJ?
Good morning, Andy. I'm doing great.
You got a title in town. It's a prosecutor.
Yes, sir.
The big bad dude.
Well, hopefully not the big bad dude. I like to see myself
you got some work cut out for you here, man. I mean, things have, we've got a lot of stuff you come in to talk about at first, but, there's a streak of violence going on in Muskegon, and it's getting scary. I mean, you think that it's just isolated to one or two areas, and for the most part, it kind of is. It's just in a couple of zip codes, but it's just this whole feeling. And in all honesty, I got to say too that I look at some of the other media, and they don't really paint Muskegon in the picture that it is because of this kind of violence.
I agree.
What's going on here, and what steps are people taking to kind of get to that?
Well, yeah, I mean, this kind of stuff, I like to say is somewhat cyclical, and obviously we're in the part now where it has been kind of rough this year, and from the law enforcement side, we've been working together very closely, and that's why you've seen recently some stories about the major case task force team. We put that into place earlier this past year for that very reason. I've been in constant communication with our federal friends at the U.S. Attorney's Office, ATF, and FBI, and we're working on some things together that we can use both state and federal resources in order to maybe eradicate some of what's been going on. And in all honesty, really what it boils down to is a few patches of some bad people.
Yeah.
Overall, I think I've been very pleased with how things have been going on, but we've got these few patches of some folks, younger folks, unfortunately, that really have no regard whatsoever for the law or authority for that matter. And that has been the difficult thing. Now, from my standpoint, and I've been saying this, I think, ever since I ran and ever since I've been elected, is that, and I always steal this phrase from a state police friend of mine, that we're not going to arrest our way out of this problem.
Right.
We're just not going to do it. And so what does that mean? That means that we have to, as a community, recognize that we're not going to tolerate this anymore. It's getting better, but for the most part, in a lot of these investigations, we're still hearing, I don't want to get involved. I don't know anything, when that isn't true. And it really takes a community effort.
And you're not necessarily saying vigilante justice type stuff at all. All it takes is a phone call if you see something going on, and it doesn't even have to be attributed to you. You can call Silent Observer and tell people what's going on. I was talking to Dawn down at the chamber the other day, and she was telling me how the Silent Observer thing works. Even a text message to the Silent Observer comes in anonymously.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that whole program has been upgraded.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be, it was 72 crime was the number, and that number still works. But now, because of the modern age, and because everybody and their brother carries cell phones, you can text it, you can email it, and again, it's all anonymous. And we've been seeing this for years now, on how that Silent Observer program works. It is truly anonymous.
Yeah.
There is no backtrack to where it comes from, and from the law enforcement standpoint, investigations are fueled by information.
Sure,
we need that information, regardless of whether a person thinks, well, maybe this isn't all that important. You'd be surprised at how some of the little stuff actually adds to bigger things. And so, what I keep asking and preaching about when I do radio shows, right?
You're busier than me when it comes to radio shows, dude.
Well, listen,
you're putting up some numbers around town, man.
To me, it's important.
Yeah,
to me, it's very important, and it's one we as a community have to stand up and say, you know what? No more on my block.
Enough's enough.
No more in my neighborhood.
Yep.
Take advantage of the anonymous aspect of Silent Observer.
Yeah.
I even offer folks to call me, and obviously, people may get nervous about that. But if you say, "Listen, I want to tell you something, but I really want to stay out of it," we'll keep you out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't. As law enforcement, we cannot do it all by ourselves, because we can't be everywhere at all times. Quite frankly, and I'd say just about every single investigation or whatnot it always starts with citizens.
Yeah.
Citizens see something, they call 911. The folks out there in the community are the eyes and ears of it.
And you're not being a snitch if you call in and tell
No.
people what's going on. You're not being a rat. You don't have anything to fear because you're going to be anonymous, and nobody's going to know where the tip came from.
Absolutely.
A lot of it to me, especially look at last week over at the Big Reds game.
Yeah.
There's a shooting right outside the Big Reds game. Everybody's scared. Everybody's this. When you're in a neighborhood where Hackley Stadium is, wouldn't that lend itself to you being out in the yard anyway, before and after the game, to see what's going on, to watch kids walk back and forth? And I thought to myself after I heard about that shooting, it's like, where's the sense of neighborhood in that neighborhood? I mean, there should be enough people out, even taking money to park cars in their yard to see something to make that kind of thing stop. But are they just not out in their yards?
Well,
is everybody holed up in their house afraid of what's going to happen next?
Well, without giving away too much of the investigation, I have to say that we did have some information from some folks that were around the area.
Good. Step
which
up,
is good,
talk.
Which is good. But no, I agree with you 100%. Obviously high school games start at 7. They're usually done by 9:30.
Yep.
I mean, it's dark out, but it's not like it's 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I agree. I mean, you would hope that certainly the neighbors would want to make sure that nobody's, being silly and stupid and doing things to their yard or whatever, and they're just out and about watching.
Yeah.
As the smoke clears, and the city of Muskegon does a really nice job. I mean, they understand how important having a safe environment is for Friday night football,
Sure.
and they bring in extra officers. I know that particular night they had a lot of plainclothes guys at the game, and that's why they were able to respond so quickly to that particular incident. But the bottom line is, again, it needs to be a partnership between the community and law enforcement.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying it, that if everybody recognizes how important and how strong that partnership is in making things better, you'd be amazed at what we can do.
Yeah.
Amazed at how quiet we can make this community, how safe we can make this community. And it doesn't take a whole lot to do.
No,
it really doesn't.
I read the headlines as I was, I saw something Friday night quick, and then I read the headlines Saturday morning about the shooting and all this kind of stuff. And, I went on Facebook and I said, look, this is disgusting because we're a better community than this. Why is this not getting reported? Why are people, why does anybody allow this to go on?
Right.
And I was let down. I really was. But is it that big of a fear issue?
And certainly I'm going to preface my comment by saying this, is that, yes, I don't live in those neighborhoods. I don't walk those streets normally. I've been in this community long enough, though, and I've done this job long enough to recognize that when people use as a crutch, well, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of retaliation. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that. Well, then we're letting those folks win. I agree. We're letting them win with really nothing substantively to back that up. In other words, I've been in the prosecutor's office for 15 years, starting from the trenches, working my way up to where I am now, and I have yet in those 15 years to have a witness disappear or anything bad happen to them as a result of them doing the right thing, having the courage to do the right thing. I think that everybody automatically falls into that kind of that silo. Yeah. Well, hey, listen, I'm safer if I say nothing and I do nothing. Right. And my question or my comment back to that is are you really? I mean, if you have the opportunity to remove a sore, a cancer from your neighborhood, wouldn't you want to do that? Yeah, immediately. As opposed to letting that continue to fester and to grow. If you have the opportunity to remove that, if it were me, I would jump at the chance. And let's be honest. I mean, the office, the prosecutor's office, and my assistants and myself, we deal with bad people every day, all day. And knock on wood here, in the 15 years that I've been doing this, nobody has ever threatened me. Yeah. Or said things to me that would cause me any concern. And quite frankly, and I'm not trying to sound like a tough guy here, but that stuff just doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's not going to stop me from doing my job, for doing what's right, and for trying to make this community better and safer.
You said early on here that we're talking with DJ Hilson, the prosecutor from Muskegon County here. You said early on that a lot of these problems in and around the city revolve around youth, young people, and that it's a cyclical problem.
Yeah.
What's going on to start to nip this in the bud a little bit? What kind of actions do you guys have going to start to change that cycle? Because, I live in Roosevelt Park, and it's a nice neighborhood and things like that. But I also see the Heights, and I see parts of Muskegon and things. And to me, it's a heartbreaking situation to see the lack of hope, the lack of purpose, the lack of self-appreciation, all that kind of stuff that's just generational at this point.
Right.
And how do we start to change that?
Well, this situation that we're in didn't happen overnight.
Right.
It really didn't. I mean, to me, and I've been thinking about this over the last couple of days, is that this isn't just an overnight phenomenon. This has been, in my opinion, something that has been growing for who knows. Maybe it's the last 2 years, the last 3 years, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And now it's bubbling over at this point, and we're seeing the bubble over the effect. So what we're trying to do is trying to reinforce with the young folks the importance of very basic things, education.
Yep.
That's why I've really focused a lot of some energy in this truancy initiative that I campaigned about and that we put in place when I took office. And that's countywide. That's just not focusing in on the urban areas. That's countywide.
It's everywhere, sure.
Because I really believe that education is the key to everything. It opens the doors. It certainly it makes kids more successful if they are in the classroom, they're getting educated, and then they graduate.
Yep.
And so that's why we spend a lot of time on that, because if we can get to these kids early and make them understand and appreciate that, then my view is that this is a long-term proactive approach to crime prevention.
And early, when you say early, what age group are you targeting?
Listen, we're targeting elementary, we're targeting middle school, and now because the age of the dropout age is 18, we're even targeting high school.
Okay.
And the focus is different at each of those levels. I mean, at elementary, we're dealing with the parents because it's more of a parental responsibility. Middle school, we still deal with the parents, but we're starting to really hyper focus in on the kids as well, because at that age you're able to, you're making those choices.
Yeah, you get a chance to get the key to the house, and maybe your mom's going to be home at 6 and things, or maybe she's got to work all night.
Right.
That's about the age. Yeah.
Well, and the beautiful thing is that we're not making our kids product of the criminal justice system.
Right.
We're using the system as the carrot stick idea that, listen, you need to appreciate and understand the importance of your education. Your job right now, your sole responsibility is to go to school.
That's it.
That's it.
Boom.
And we make the parents understand what their responsibility is. And what's really nice is that because we're not doing this alone, we're working with the schools, we're working with DHS and some other outside agencies. It's a tool to offer help.
Yep.
Because that's when we meet with these kids and these parents, it's not that we're here to punish you, we're here to help you.
Right.
Now
we'd like to avoid punishing you.
Exactly.
Right.
Now there's going to be some things that you're going to have to do in order to avoid the consequences. But understand that you're not coming down to the county building and meeting with an assistant prosecutor because we're going to throw you in jail or we're going to do this or that to you. We want you to recognize and appreciate how important these decisions are that you're making right now in your life.
Yeah.
And so from that level, we're trying to hopefully, like I said, get long-term benefit out of kids staying in school, getting an education, and moving on and being positive aspects to our community.
Productive people.
The
Absolutely.
other things one of the other programs that I'm really excited about and was really honored and privileged to be asked to be a part of is the Boys and Girls Club of Muskegon.
Okay.
Several months ago, I was asked if I'd be a part of the board, and certainly given the other names that were surrounding the table, there are a lot more important people sitting at that table than myself, and I jumped all over it.
Sure.
Because I truly believe, given who was sitting around the table, and the discussions that were happening, that this was actually going to become a reality. This wasn't just, a reaction and lip service and, hey, listen, this is a good idea. We need to. These were folks that were ready just to get it done.
Do it.
And that has come true. I mean, we are in the middle of kind of a behind-the-scenes capital campaign, and I can tell you that we have raised almost $500,000.
Wow.
We've already posted on the Boys and Girls Club website basically an open call for an executive director.
Okay.
And so, again, this is not just folks sitting around the table once a month talking about getting something done. We're actually getting it done.
Sure.
And so I'm very excited about that. I don't know whether or not it was because I wasn't at the meeting, that particular meeting or not, but those members elected me to be president of the board.
That's the problem. You weren't there.
And
you should have been there.
So if it was because I wasn't there, they thought I could do a good job, I don't know. But that to me was quite an honor.
Sure.
Again, given the community leaders that were sitting around this table, folks that are far more influential than I am. And so I have taken that responsibility, and we are, like I said, working very hard to make sure. I mean, we've got a location already picked out, working out the details there. Like I said, we've got this behind-the-scenes capital campaign going on. We're getting ready to launch the public aspect of this, and I'm just really excited that
you should be.
By the first quarter of 2015, there will be a Boys and Girls Club open in the city of Muskegon, and we're going to be looking to expand.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And that means a lot, because that having that label brings a lot to the table.
Yeah.
It brings a national organization that has been helping us as we get through this kind of discovery process and figuring out, the ins and outs and the details and everything else. And the other thing is that these community leaders have the heart and soul of the youth,
Yep.
of our youth, on their brains and in their hearts. And that, to me, is what's driving this bus.
Well, to me, too, I think that there is an air of change coming to Muskegon. I think that I've seen action going on in buildings that have been sitting empty for quite some time. I see some businesses starting to pop up. I think we're in for a real turn over the next 5 years, and to have a resource there for like that for kids,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what a fantastic thing to have as a part of that resurgence.
No, I agree.
I can feel it. I can feel it everywhere I turn, the way things are changing here in town. And once we can give people a sense of purpose and, kids a little bit better direction and that kind of thing, it's like launching a rocket ship, man.
Yeah.
I really think it is, and it's fantastic.
Well, listen, I share your optimism. I really do. I truly believe that Muskegon is a diamond in the rough.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so happy to be here on the ground floor,
Yep.
waiting for it to explode.
Why do you think I opened up this radio station? We opened up this radio station.
Listen, man, it just warms my heart to see you sitting behind the mic again.
Yeah, come on now.
I'm serious.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You know what? And I'm not saying this just because you're my friend, but you are an inspiration to this community. You have the heart of Muskegon, and it's just a pleasure. It's been an honor, really, to get to know you and to be your friend.
Oh, come on.
I'm serious.
You're making me blush.
I'm serious.
What's that in your back pocket? Is that a warrant?
No. And listen, I'm not just saying that to say it. I mean, it's
cool.
It is. It really is. I mean, you do, whether you know it or not, you do inspire people to do what's right in this community.
All I know is this. When I got to Muskegon, and you've heard my story
Yes.
multiple times. When I got to Muskegon, I had an alcohol problem and a couch. And ever since then, everything that has ever been amazing in this life has come to me in Muskegon. My wife, my grandkids, I can't say fortune because, let's be honest, I do this. But anything that's good has come in my time here in Muskegon. And to me, that's as a community that gets my heart. I love it here. I love the people. I love the scenery. I love the future. And it's an honor to be here and to be back on the air, to be honest with you. And your kind words are great, but like I said, I'm the lucky one. So it's my turn to give a little bit back.
Well, hey, listen, I'm happy to hitch my wagon onto your train.
You're the man.
And so I'm looking forward to that.
Keep us in the loop as we get closer and closer to this Boys and Girls Club opening.
Absolutely.
Let's make a big deal out of it. Let's make sure this is a huge launch, and that all these kids who are somewhat at risk or completely at risk know that there's a way for them to get themselves out of that kind of cyclical problem that continues on and on after generation after generation. It's got to change, man. It really does.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, from my standpoint, it gets frustrating from time to time, and I wish that I wish I could fix it all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, you know.
Well, you're one guy, man.
I know, I know, but you know,
time.
That monkey will probably never leave my shoulder, and that's okay. I mean, that just keeps driving me, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I think being a part in these organizations that really have what's right in their brains and in their hearts, it just makes, to me, it really makes Muskegon a wonderful place.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we all work together.
Mr. DJ Hilson, prosecutor, friend, awesome dude all the way around. Thanks for coming in, man.
You got it, Andy.
All right, we'll put this all up on MuskegonRadio.com, and that'll be your stop for anything you need to release as far as this Boys and Girls Club thing coming on, and anything we can do to help you out, man, we're here.
I appreciate that. Well, listen, I'm going to definitely keep you in the loop.
Of course you are. He's got that look on his face like you ain't done with me yet, pal.
No.
DJ Hilson, thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you.